Hi, welcome to Awakening Soul Truth. I'm Robbie Short, and this is Allison Ledbetter.
And we are here to help people ascend, to awaken, to be powerful, unified, and present. Because it's all about being present right now. Basically, there are two things that are happening and that we're really clear about sharing with you. The first one is that this weird dark field that we've referred to as purgatory in the past that contains a whole bunch of stuck energy, that is dissolving. And it's dissolving piece by piece all over the world in different pockets of time, which means we're moving into the now moment collectively. We are unifying. As that happens, the real divine setup of Earth is re-establishing itself. And that field contains love. And that field doesn't keep you in debt. And that field unifies you.
Woo!
Yeah.
No, it's really exciting. I love hearing this. We've called it the dark matrix too, so there's lots of little terms you could use for it.
Definitely.
But it's getting broken up, it's dissolving.
And then we just had all the support from the astrology.
Yeah, so we just had an eclipse last weekend. It was a solar eclipse with the new moon. And that particular eclipse, like any eclipse, is going to be about sudden shockings, epiphanies, revelations, endings, beginnings, changes of some sort. But what was really unique about this particular eclipse, so we had 4 supermoons in a row, and the supermoons are where the moon is the closest proximity to the planet.
Right.
And we already know the moon has a big impact, and pull on our gravitational field, on the tides of the ocean, and we are made up about 75% water ourselves, so it amplifies the energy and emotions. But this particular new moon that just occurred was at its farthest point away from the planet, which meant that the moon appeared much smaller. And that makes the eclipse more rare because it only happens, well, like the next one won't be until 2039. So we've got another 16 years before we have an eclipse like the one we just experienced. And the one that we just experienced, they termed as the Ring of Fire. And so when the moon was eclipsing the sun, it couldn't completely cover the sun like what we had here in Nashville in 2017. We had a total eclipse, which meant everything went dark. Well, even with the total eclipse, there was still a burning bright ring of the sun that was still visible in the skies.
Right, which is outstanding.
And that's very symbolic. One, it's symbolic as a symbol of hope, that there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes.
And then the other thing that's really significant about the Ring of Fire is that sun, this is important, it represents consciousness, and the moon represents subconsciousness. And so the sun is trying to burn into our awareness what needs to be understood, realized, dealt with, healed to some degree.
Healed.
Which is really, really exciting. The other interesting thing about that particular eclipse, Mars, which is considered the god of war, moved into the sign of Scorpio. And Scorpio is ruled by 2 planets, which is Mars, as well as Pluto, which is considered the lord of the underground, which digs up the dirt, digs up the things that are buried or obscured or hasn't been known before, or things that are going to basically reveal more and more truths.
Yeah.
So look what happened a week as we were moving in towards that energy, because that energy is already coming at us before it happens.
Absolutely.
And it continues to stay with us even after it happens. But look at the disruption that just happened in the Middle East.
Yeah.
So the other thing that happened with the eclipse is this was going to be governing relationships, and they were saying more about our intimate relationships or partnerships, our spouses, our lovers, things of that nature. So you could have had those things coming up. But what Allison and I were just talking about, the most intimate relationship you could ever experience is the one with yourself.
Yes.
And we often say in yoga, intimacy can be broken down to into me, I see.
Yes.
So this eclipse is really important.
And it's so important because of healing this inner relationship with self. Moving into self-acceptance actually empowers you to be the light, make new choices, and you might not realize it, but when you unify internally, you're saying to the exterior world, we don't want war anymore. We don't want the discomfort anymore. We don't want the juxtaposition anymore. We are so powerful as light beings, and we're being supported by the universe for this. This new energy is saying to you, accept and love who you are. That gives me so much hope, because when I turn on to my light and trust my unity, I affect you. And you can trust your unity. And we stop feeding into this place of separation and fear. This means healing relationships that are close to you, loving people, regardless of their behavior sometimes, because we want to focus on the love. That's the only way through this.
Yeah, in fact, when I was looking at the astrology for the eclipse, they were saying, pay attention and be introspective on what you are warring with.
Absolutely.
Are you warring with yourself? Are you warring with your work? Are you warring with your partner? And to look at that, because relationships are supposed to be a mirror reflection.
Absolutely.
Reflecting back to you so that you can look in at yourself and go, okay, instead of looking at your partner's shortcomings,
Right.
maybe look in at yourself and go, okay, instead of blaming them for this, that, or the other, what's my part in this?
How can I be kinder? How
Yes.
can I be supportive? How can I be present and just listen?
Yeah. Like you mentioned radical self-acceptance this morning.
Yes.
I love that term.
Radical self-acceptance.
Okay, let's just sit with that.
Well, we are.
Radical self-acceptance.
Radical self-acceptance. I love every part of who I am. I love my humanness. I love my spiritualness. I'm done being scared of all these aspects of myself. That's right. We have tons of parts of ourselves. We have to feel it. Feeling's not scary. So that paradigm of don't feel that came out of, I don't know, the 1920s, 30s, and 40s. That place of telling men they can't feel, women, you're not allowed to feel. You're just supposed to do. And feeling's not a part of the equation. That's a lie. Feel it, emote, express, forgive, love yourself. That's how this works. Truly.
Yeah. Acceptance, forgiveness, and love.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with that recipe.
You really can't. And you'd be surprised as soon as you accept it, and you see new things. We've been talking about integrating those past lives. Those might come up. You might have a memory from childhood that comes up. And that's it. Don't get stuck there. You saw it, you healed it, you felt it. It's going to integrate. I love who I am.
And the last thing I want you to bring up, if you don't mind, is how you were talking about, because that field is breaking down,
Yes.
there's a lot of loose energy because it's not anchored.
Right.
Could you tell them?
I see, and I have observed that as these pockets break down, we had a massive dark vortex heal in Pulaski, and I think we've talked about that one before, that when that vortex healed, a lot of dark squiggles kind of got loose and moved out. And what we're seeing is that darkness is being revealed. It doesn't have an anchor in the past. It doesn't have an anchor in these pockets of stuck souls, those souls that were being held against their will. If it doesn't have a source anymore, it's going to be revealed. You're able to see it. That's why it's so important to own yourself, so you don't have any holes in your energy that allow dark beings that don't have bodies to feed off of you.
And if you are in your power, if you are grounded in yourself, if you are exhibiting a state of self-acceptance, and if you are embodying yourself with love, if you're able to be the light, then you're going to be safe. Like,
there's no room for it. You're filling out your aura. And I want to make something else really clear. Our perception of God is going to change. As you evolve, you heal your relationship with God from, I have to be perfect for God. I have all these conditions that I have to meet. I'm in debt to myself. You know, that whole paradigm is not God's loving paradigm. It's not love. We're moving to the place of love. So allow that definition to evolve. Feel the self-acceptance. Feel the support. I'm supported. You can just say it and feel it. I'm supported by the divine. Let's lose this place of being judged and judging each other. Let's just be done. It doesn't work. Unify, you unify, it gives us hope, and we, on a mass conscious level, can actually stop this war, this hate, this pitting each other. Don't go to the place
don't get
of
caught
hopelessness.
And don't get caught up in the sides. They're right, they're wrong.
Yeah. Don't. That's a trap. This is a trap.
That's what's creating more division. That's what's creating more fear. I talked about this in my classes this week. We really focused on the first, second, third chakras with that eclipse, because in Vedic astrology, they were, it's a little bit different than Western. And there's this window in the month of October that allows us to do ancestral healing.
Yeah.
And so that comes up with the root chakra, but the root chakra also can be overruled by fear, and we don't want fear to run our lives. And so we worked into the first chakra to get rid of the fear and to think about something ancestral that we needed to heal. And then we worked on the sacral chakra, which is the hip region, because it's relational. And then we went into the third chakra, which is the indwelling place of the sun, our place of power, strength, courage, because this is what gives us the fuel. And this is what gives us that burning desire to keep living, to keep striving, to hopefully get unified and stay unified.
Yeah. I love that. And I love that when you heal these chakras, we're rooting into new earth. We're rooting into the truth. We're allowing the real.
So bring the love in.
Yep.
Send the fear out.
Radical self-acceptance. I love who I am. So we'll breathe with that. Just taking a deep breath in. And feeling the rise and fall of your chest. I accept where I am right here, right now. I accept all aspects of who I am. I let go of being perfect. I love myself now. I let go of being right in my intimate relationships. And I accept everyone has their divine truth. I love who I am. I accept who I am. I am anchored in the divine. I choose to love every part of me. I accept all of me. I love all of me. Radical self-acceptance. It's time.